What is up, everybody? We are back with another episode of Bullish's Top Stocks to Watch for the Week and Why. I am joined again by my favorite co-host Jane. Miyagi's over there chilling, so if they bark, my bad. But anyways, let's jump into it to start the week. I think we have a short week, but hey, a couple things before we get into it. These are only my opinions. Do your own due diligence. This is all IMO, and also follow us here. Help us feel good about ourselves. Give us a follow here or real_bullish wherever you get your social media poison. I love engaging, talking to people and shit like that. And it's really fun through the week while I'm working. Just, hey, talk some shit, talk some stocks, whatever. Jane just took off, probably because I'm too loud. Let's get into it. I have a theme this week, and I don't know why I just thought about that. But basically, there was a lot of, I was looking like a lot of PayPal Mafia stuff. So basically, hey, I'm going to talk some PayPal Mafia today. The first one is going to be PLTR, Palantir Technologies. Talked about them before. I followed them when they went for their IPO. This is a Peter Thiel backed CEO. He's the CEO of PayPal. He also was an early investor of Facebook. He actually was a part of the PayPal mafia. He allegedly stole PayPal from Elon Musk. It's really crazy how that happened. It's in the book. It's in the book titled Elon Musk, which is pretty cool. But anyways, investing.com had an article, one to drop, one to add. Palantir was one to add. The one to drop was Exxon because of the whole Permian Basin kind of like asset dispute that they're having. It's, I guess, some kind of investigation. But anyways, it talked about how this one has Cathie Woods, actually. So if you're a follower of Cathie Woods, I'll talk about her in a bit. But basically, hey, she went into Palantir this week, I think on Friday. And you see some of that action here on Friday. If you break it down at the day level, look at all that fucking volume. Look at that. 334 million shares basically sold. Hadn't had that ever in the history of it. I think even on the first trading day, even on the first trading day, hey, that's a lot of movement there, a lot of action going in on Friday, but it didn't move the stock all that much as I would expect. I expect like a 5% move. It was actually just under 3% in the day. So I think there's a lot of meat on the bones there. If you don't know who Cathie Woods is, hey man, she's a bad motherfucker in the stock ETF world. But anyways, what I like about this as well is at the day level, it was trading a little bit lower. It's been consolidating for a while. You know me, I have a Palantir shirt. I fucking love Palantir. I know there's that whole thing, like it's like Big Brother data, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to say. I love Palantir for the play, but also for what they're doing with big data analytics and how they're, kind of going to the market there. I'm a big fan of Peter Thiel. Anyone who can allegedly steal a company from Elon Musk is a bad motherfucker. I wouldn't vote against this guy. But basically, I liked it because it seems like it wants to break out a lot here. It's been kind of consolidating, can't break over this 28.5. I have an alert here. But what I liked about it is it's kind of been testing that a little bit. It's been touching it. And in my experience, the more it touches and kind of cools off, it's like a spring and it's just kind of winding up. I like that it touched this. It was extended off of this 10 EMA at the week level. Last week would have been great. This week or 2 weeks ago would have been great. The week of 1-4. Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. But I think, yeah, you want to see it touch it and then gradually bounce off versus kind of these super far extended ones, which, I mean, those are kind of like short-lived. They're just kind of poking into there. But I like it. It's kind of like a coiled spring to me. It's coming back. You just need a really good catalyst. And I think that we'll see that Cathie Woods be that catalyst to come up. You see all that volume come over. There hadn't been volume over average since, last 2 weeks of last year. We're seeing that coming in. I love the RSI is coming up. This is a hot motherfucking runner. It can trade at 89, almost 90, and still kind of then need to cool off. If you can see it here. Basically, I like the RSI. It's kind of dipping, coming back. I like the MACD. It looks like it wants to pinch close and then go to be bullish. I'm a big fan of it. I'm like in Palantir. Like I said, hey, these are things I'm watching, not exactly playing, but I think this is going to be a really, really good one. I kind of get in and out. I get in and out of this one pretty quickly, but I think I'm gonna start holding this for a little bit longer. The only things to consider: they do have a lockup period coming out in February when they have their next ER. Lockup period is basically, hey, you can't sell your shares for X amount of time, and I think February is that kind of next one where people can kind of. And sometimes you see people just selling their shares. You see the price go down, so you can play it however you want to. I just think that, hey, there's a lot of good catalysts. Not only Cathie Woods, investing.com talking about them, but also just gradually how this trade is kind of shaking out. Looks really good. Okay, all in the PayPal Mafia. I'm going to talk about Affirm, and there's not a lot to talk about here because I just talked about them. Last week they just IPO'd. They're up 135% from their opening price, which is insane. It's crazy. Again, PayPal Mafia. This guy Max Levichin, he's basically he was one of the big guys behind PayPal. Then he's kind of like done a bunch of stuff. Since then, he sold like his last company to Google, I think. But basically, what I like about Affirm is it's kind of like, if you've never heard of Affirm, it's kind of like a buy now, pay later, almost like a layaway thing. But they're kind of trying to disrupt that whole fintech model. They have a lot of big actually partners or whatever. Shopify. There's like a button for Affirm on Shopify, Walmart, Peloton. Actually, Peloton's actually 30% of their business, which is not necessarily want to see. You want to see the more diverse. You want to see that spread out. But I think that hey, I think they've been a company for about 7 or 8 years. They have over 7 million. Last I heard, actual users. That's always great. Not all of them are active users. I think only like half of them are actually active users just within the last year. But still, they have all those people's informations and data. They're like a data fintech play, So I think that hey, with their IPO coming in, I think it's going to be a great catalyst. If I don't catch IPOs, the last IPO I played was Palantir, but basically if I don't catch IPOs on the day that they go at a good price, I kind of wait for the next week, maybe the week after, to kind of see what the natural progression of this price is going to be, where it's going to end up. And hey, I like it. I like that it's kind of respected this line right here that I drew 107.13 twice. So it's kind of shot up, 137, 138, whatever you want to call it, kind of hit that high. I mean, it's only been trading for fucking 3 days, 2.5 days. But anyways, it came back down, hit this 50 EMA, right? And then kind of respected that line for the next one, And what I want to see is a gradual increase off of that. Eventually, we'll see where that comes in. You see all this sailing volume over average coming in. So people are kind of taking profits, maybe trying to bring that price down a little bit. You see RSI and all these indicators are just kind of like really weird because, it's so new. But basically, hey, you saw that come up. It's like in a nice little channel for a couple days. I want to see another week what it's going to do over this next week. So anyways, that was Palantir. That was Affirm, PayPal Mafia. And if you know the leader of the PayPal Mafia, I'm going to talk about Tesla. So Elon Musk was the leader of the PayPal Mafia until Peter Thiel took it over from him. But basically, I haven't looked at Tesla for a while. I was kind of like burnt out with trading Tesla after the S&P inclusion. I kind of talked about it a little bit. But anyways, I mean, hey, you don't bet against Elon. But also when I'm looking at, and I hadn't looked at Tesla, for a few weeks actually. I hadn't seen what it was doing. It's pretty interesting. I guess, yeah, that was the last time I looked at it when they did the S&P thing. But it's been on a tear since then. Nothing over average yet. If anything, if you look at the week level, it's cooling off. You see some selling volume for the last week coming in. You see RSI. RSI for Tesla can run fucking hot. It can run all the way to 94, 95. It wasn't even close. It was like at 70. So it was pretty close. It was at 85 for about 10 away. But you see the RSI is kind of cooling off at the week level. You see MACD, it's still not bearish or bullish or bearish yet, but still, when you see RSI cooling off, usually see MACD. I like to think of it as price is like immediate. Price is actually moving now. RSI is kind of like forward looking a little bit in terms of like what it's going to do. And MACD is like a big Cadillac. It's like a lagging indicator where it's like it takes a while for it to catch up to the faster moving ones like price or like RSI. So sometimes it takes a little while for MACD, especially at the week level, to kind of catch up and be a good signal. I like to see all of them in trend together. It just doesn't look like that to me. What Tesla's doing at the week level, you see this double top here. What I mean by double top is it hit this price and then kind of like left everyone hanging a little bit. And that's not necessarily a hanging man indicator because it would be up here, but at the same time, like it hit this 8.4 and wasn't ready to cross yet. A lot of people think these are going to hit 1,000. Hey, I see that as well. But it just looks like, hey, it slammed into, if I break it down to the day level, the price was just kind of on a tear up here. It hit an RSI of 84, before it started cooling off, which is about, what it's going to hit if you look historically before it starts cooling off a little bit. But also what I see at the day level making the better picture. The week level was kind of mixed. At the day level, it's pretty apparent. Hey, it hit this, it's selling off. Hopefully it finds some kind of leverage here at the 10 EMA at the day level. But also if you look at, volume's not there yet, but the RSI is definitely in a decline. You can see, hey, this is a fucking line down here. If I could draw a line real quick. I'm trying to go through this super quick because I'm about to eat right now. But basically, hey, you see this line going in, everything. You see the MACD right here pinching and about to cross over to be more bearish, right? So it's getting closer, and maybe we'll also see that kind of trend go down to where it starts, where you see red versus green. So I think that for me, I'm watching Tesla now actively to see a big movement down. I want to see a big down day, 5, 10%, maybe to start looking into it because Tesla's only going to stay down for so long. Tesla, I would be more bearish on the market versus Tesla. So if the market is bullish, I think Tesla overall is going to be bullish. How long is the market going to stay bullish? That's a consideration to think about as well. I think there's a lot of telling indicators coming in to see, hey, is the market going to turn laggers turning into leaders? FANG stocks not coming back to kind of what they were doing, even a couple months ago, and people taking profits and stuff. We'll see what goes on. But anyway, so far I was talking about the PayPal Mafia. That was Palantir so far, Affirm, Tesla, my boy Elon. Also, I'm going to talk because I talked about in the beginning, Palantir. Who bought really big Palantir stocks? Cathie Woods. With her ERK growth, or sorry, ARKW, which is the growth ETF. And if you haven't heard of Cathie Woods, I would suggest you go to her. I think it's called arkinvest.com. And basically, it's the ETF. And you can actually sign up for their mailing list and stuff, which I just found out about, which is really cool. But ETFs are kind of boring. I'm not going to lie. ETFs are a little bit boring, but also they're safer. And I like ETFs. If you don't know what an ETF, look it up. But basically, an exchange traded fund. It's like a mutual fund, but you don't have to necessarily pay for someone to actively manage it. They just kind of do it. There's a lot of nuances, but basically, you think of it like, as for me, a way to go into a specific market, but more generally, meaning like, hey, I want to look at emerging. So looking at this one right here that we're talking about, ARKW, which is emerging growth. I want to look at tech stocks that are growing, like in the growth phase. But also I want to just look at them. So I get a big basket of stocks that are in that category. And that's kind of how I like to play ETFs. I like to look at cool ones like Cathie Woods or whatever, or something like that, and then look at what encompasses, what stocks they use to make them up. And then go further into those kind of areas. So I think that's how I'm going to play this one. I've been wanting to get into Cathie Woods one. I think that this is a really good one. Also, she has a fucking space one that's going to come out pretty soon. I think that's going to be fun too. But what I like about her specifically is the market loves her right now. And like I said, on Friday, Palantir, she bought 497,000 shares, so almost 500,000 shares of Palantir, which, if you already know me, I'm bullish on Palantir. I have the fucking shirt to prove it. But anyways, I love playing it. But anyways, what I like about this is it's going up in channels. It consolidates a little bit. Basically, it tears. This motherfucker tears. And I should think, if you look over the week level, that's exactly what it's doing. What I was waiting for, though, I was waiting for this to kind of touch this 10 EMA. I don't, like I said, at the week level, I don't like when stocks or ETFs kind of take off too far and get too far extended, because you need some natural consolidation to where it comes back to the moving average over X amount of days. And that's what it did over the past couple of weeks. Again, I think that we'll see kind of, it does look a little bit mixed. You see this high selling volume coming in for the last week of 111. You see RSI kind of pointing down. Are my dogs outside? What the hell? I just heard them shake, but I don't see them, which is weird. So yeah, you saw, like a little bit of indecision doji, like a small little candle body with a big wick. But I like that it's pretty close to this 10 EMA, even though it is a little extended. I think it'll cool off a little bit. But basically also, it has volume. Volume over average was bearish as fuck. But also the RSI is coming down. The MACD looks like it wants to be parallel to almost maybe touching. So at the week level, it's a little bit mixed. But if you break it down, I think to the day level, it looks more profound. Like it isn't a sell-off because it hit a triple top. 1, 2, 3 different tops. It hit this line of 160 over multiple days, and it's very significant resistance, right? It's hitting it, bouncing off. But the important thing here to me is it's hitting this 10 EMA and taking it. What I want to see happen, and which I don't think might happen, is hit this second line. I use 4 different EMAs. I use the 10, 25, 50, and 200. I want to see it hit this less lighter blue line and then go off of that, because that's what it shows it's done in the past. It follows the 10. When it breaks under it, it uses that as support. But once it breaks again, it usually hits this 10 EMA. Otherwise here, it hits this 10 or 25 EMA and then it kind of rolls off of there. I want to see, and it looks like we did have a big sell-off, on Friday. I want to see it sell off a little bit more at a good price. Because you see a lot of bearish things coming in. You see this huge fucking red candle come in. You see volume over average that are bearish coming in. You see RSI just kind of going down, 61 and then dropping. You see MACD, which is kind of, to me, the slower one, moving average, also coming down a little bit here, pinching to go down to be bearish. But overall, I think I'm bullish on this in general, just because, the name association and kind of like her kind of track record of really going with good ETFs. And I think once she gets that space one, it's going to cause her other ones to get a little bit more as well. People are going to look at it a little bit more. Again, Palantir, Affirm, Tesla, ARK ETF, or ARKW. I was kind of going with the PayPal Mafia theme. Just thought about that. Wanted to roll with it because it looked right. Again, follow real_bullish wherever you get your social media poison. Stay bullish. Good luck to everyone. It's a crazy week. I think it's a short week. But also remember, wash your hands, wear a mask, social distance, you nasty fucks. Okay, we'll get through this. Peace.